Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my YouTube channel Diversity of Plant Zone. Before starting my today's topic, I request you all to please subscribe and like my YouTube channel. Today's topic of my video is about August Wilhelm Eichler classification system. So let's start today's video. August Wilhelm Eichler. August Wilhelm Eichler is also known under his Latinized name, Augustus Wilhelmus Eichler. He was born on the 22nd of April 1839 to 2nd of March 1887. He was a German botanist who developed a new system of classification of plants to reflect the concept of evolution. His author abbreviation in botany is Eichler. August Wilhelm Eichler. He was born on the 22nd of April 1839 and died on the 2nd of March 1887. He was a German scientist and botanist as shown in the figure. Next, I am going to discuss about the biography. Biography includes the date of birth. So he was born on the 22nd of April 1839 in Neukirchen, Hesse, and died on the 2nd of March 1887 at the age of 47 in Berlin. Nationality German. Scientific career includes the fields like botany and plant taxonomy. Author abbreviation for botany is Eichler. Born in the Neukirchen, Hesse, Eichler studied at the University of Marburg, Germany, and in 1871 he became the professor of botany at the Technische Hochschule, Technical University, Graz, and director of Botanical Garden in that city. In 1872, he received an important appointment at the University of Karl, where he remained until 1878, and when he became the director of herbarium at the University of Berlin. He died in Berlin on the March 2, 1887, of leukemia. Eichler made important contributions to the study of the comparative structure of flowers, mainly on the floral symmetry in his work, which is also called in English as Blüten diagram. In German language it is called Blüten diagramme. In French it is called Blüten diagram. He wrote extensively on the coniferae, Sacadaceae, and other important plant groups of the Brazil. Next, I am going to discuss about the August Wilhelm Eichler. August Wilhelm Eichler, he was born on the 22nd of April 1839 in Neukirchen, Hesse, Germany. Died on the 2nd of March 1887 in Berlin. German botanist who developed one of the first widely used natural systems of plant classification. Eichler studied mathematics and natural science at the University of Marburg, Ph.D. 1861. He then went to the Munich, where he became a private assistant to the naturalist Karl, Friedrich, Phillipp, Martius, with whom he edited Flora Brasiliensis, 15 volume, the Flora of Brazil, the first volume of which had appeared in 1861. After the death of the Martius in 1868, Eichler worked on the Flora unassisted, issuing 46 of 100 parts. In 1865, he became a lecturer at the University of Munich, and 6 years later, professor of botany at the Technische Hochschule, Technical University at Graz. In 1872, he received an appointment at the University of Karl, where he remained until 1878, and when he became the director of herbarium at the University of Berlin. That same year, the second and the last volume of his Bluton Diagramma appeared, first volume, 1875, Diagrams of Flowers, his principal contribution to the study of comparative structure of flowers. Eichler's system of plant classification, developed in 1886, eventually won worldwide acceptance. He divided the plant kingdom into 4 divisions. So the first division is called Thallophyta. Thallophyta, which includes the algae and fungi. Second division is Bryophyta, which includes liverworts and mosses. Third is Pteridophyta, which includes the club mosses, horsetails and ferns. And next is Spermatophyta, which are the seed plants. The last of which in turn divided the 2 major categories. The first is angiosperms. Angiosperms are the flowering plants, and gymnosperms. Gymnosperms include such as pines and spruces and firs. Eichler's system was eventually modified into a more natural system of classification. Next, I am going to discuss about the Eichler August Wilhelm. Eichler has been considered one of the most prominent systematic and morphological botanists of his time. He was an enemy of dogmas and philosophical speculations. His main contributions concern the symmetry of flowers and the taxonomy of higher plants. These accomplishments followed in the tradition of another great German botanist, which is called Alexander Braun, and culminated in the introduction of a widely adopted system of plant classification. The eldest son of a cantor who also taught natural sciences, Eichler demonstrated an early interest in nature, collecting the minerals and flowers and becoming skilled in mountain climbing. After his early education in Eastwich and Horsford, he studied the mathematics and natural science at the University of Marburg from 1857 to 1861. There, Eichler developed a close personal relationship with one of his teachers, the botanist which is called Albert Wigand, an association that proved decisive for his future career. His main interest turned to the study of flowers and their basic structure, and in opposition to Wigand's ideas, he became a vigorous defender of Darwin. Warmly recommended by his teachers, Eichler went to Munich after his graduation as private assistant to the naturalist Karl Friedrich von Martius. There he assisted Martius in editing the monumental Flora Brasiliensis. After becoming a lecturer at the University of Munich, Eichler assumed the sole editorship of this ambitious project upon the death of Martius in 1868. 3 years later, in 1871, he accepted an offer to become professor of botany at the Technische Hochschule of Graz and to supervise the local botanical gardens. Eichler occupied his post for only 1 year until he heeded a call from the Prussian government to assume the chair of botany at the Kehl. There he completed the first part of his most famous work on the comparative structure of flowers, which is also called Bluton diagram or Bluton diagram. This publication was based on the meticulous and repeated observations, and Eichler himself executed some of the woodcuts that illustrated the book. After the death of the Alexander Braun in 1877, Eichler was appointed professor of systematic and morphologic botany at the University of Berlin. In addition, he assumed the direction of the university's Brarium and the Royal Botanical Gardens at the Schönborn. Eichler's contemporaries were impressed with his ability as a teacher as well as with the combination of scholarship, strict objectivity, and personal modesty that he constantly exhibited. What had begun as an eye complaint during the years at Kiel gradually became a disabling systemic disease, diagnosed before his death as the leukemia. It greatly hampered his death as leukemia. It greatly hampered his research and teaching during the years in Berlin. In 1867, Eichler was elected secretary of the International Botanical Congress held in Paris on the 16th to 23rd of August of that year. After his call to the German capital, he was elected a member of Berlin Academy of Sciences in 1880. He also became a corresponding or honorary member of several other societies, such as the French Academy of Sciences, the Royal Academy of Belgium, the Academy of Sciences of Munich, and in 1881, the Linnean Society of London. Next, I am going to discuss about Eichler's system. The Eichler system divided the plant kingdom into non-floral parts. The first is cryptogamy and floral parts is phanerogamy. It was the first to accept the concept of evolution and therefore also the first to be considered phylogenetic. Moreover, Eichler was the first taxonomist to separate the phanerogamy into angiosperms and gymnosperms, and the former into Monocotyledoni and Dicotyledoni. The Eichler system was the foundation for Adolf Engler system and was widely accepted in Europe and other parts of the world. A system of plant taxonomy, the Eichler system was the first phylogenetic and phyletic or evolutionary system. It was developed by the August Wilhelm Eichler in the time period of 1839 to 1887, initially in his Bluton diagram or Bluton diagramma 1875 to 1878, and then in successive editions of his labors 1876 to 1890. After his death, his colleague, which is also called Adolf Engler 1844 to 1930, continued its development and it became widely accepted. The system was based on dividing the plant kingdom into those plants which concealed reproductive organs, non-floral, the cryptogamy, hidden reproduction, and those with the visible reproductive organs, floral, the phanerogamy, the visible reproduction. Moreover, Eichler was the first taxonomist to separate the phanerogamy into angiosperms and gymnosperms, and the former into Monocotyledoni and Dicotyledoni. His primary ranks were the divisions, which are also called Abteilung, followed by the orders, which are called Reha. This is the plant kingdom. So the plant kingdom is divided into the two subkingdoms. First is the cryptogamy. Cryptogamy includes the non-flowering and non-seed bearing. On the other hand, the phanerogamy includes the flowering and seed bearing. Cryptogamy, the non-flowering and non-seed bearing, is further divided into three types. First is Thallophyta. Thallophyta, the plant body not differentiated into the root, stem, and leaf. Second is Bryophyta. Bryophyta have false roots, leaves, and spores are produced in a capsule. For example is Riccia and Veneria. Third is Pteridophyta. Pteridophyta includes the true roots and leaves are present. So the spores are born on the undersurface of the leaf, for example, ferns. So next is the phanerogamy. Phanerogamy is the flowering and seed bearing. It is divided further into two types. First is gymnospermy. Gymnospermy include naked seeds, for example, pinus and cycas. And next is angiospermy. Angiospermy, the seeds are enclosed in a fruit. Next I am going to discuss about the Bluton diagamma 1875 to 1878. First volume, the volume 1, 1875. Contents page number 6 to 8. Synopsis: Deviant 1, Gymnospermy. Deviant 2, Monocotyledoni. And Deviant 3 is Dicotyledoni. Volume 2, 1878. Contents page number 5 to 8. Synopsis: Deviant 3, Dicotyledoni, continued. Next I am going to discuss about the syllabus. 4th edition 1886. The system here taken from the 4th edition of the syllabus 1886 divides the plant into deviants, classes and groups. Groups were further divided into orders. This is the German botanical rank. First of all, German, then Latin and then English. In German, this is Abteilung. Abteilung in Latin is called Divio and in English it is pronounced as Division. Second is Abteilung. In Latin it is pronounced as Subdivio, but in English it is pronounced as Subdivision. Next is Classa. Classa in Latin is pronounced as classes and in English it is pronounced as class. So the next is Raya. Raya in Latin it is pronounced as ordo, but in English it is called order. Next is enter. Raya. In Latin, it is pronounced as suborder and English it is called suborder. Next is farm. Farm in Latin is pronounced as familia, but in English it is called family. Next is enterfarm. In Latin, it is pronounced as subfamilia, but in English it is called subfamily. Next is Gope. Gope is pronounced as tribus, but in English it is called tribe. Next is Gattung. Gattung in Latin it is pronounced as genus, and in English it is also pronounced as genus. So next is art. Art in Latin is pronounced as species, and in English it is also pronounced as species. Next I am going to discuss about the deviant, which is called cryptogamy. Cryptogamy is further divided into the deviants. The first deviant is Thallophyta, which includes the classes 1 algae. The classes 1 algae is further divided into groups. So first the group is Cyanophaceae. Cyanophaceae. Second group is Diatomy. Third group is Chlorophaceae. Fourth group is Phaeophaceae. Fifth group is Rhodophaceae. Classes 2 is fungi, and classes 2 fungi is further divided into 3 groups. So the first group is Schizomycetes. Second group is Eumycetes. Third group is lichens. Domain 2 is Bryophyta. Bryophyta is divided into the classes. So the first class is Hepaticae. Second class is Musci or Musae. Musae. Next division is Pteridophyta. Pteridophyta is divided into the classes. So the first class is Equisetina. Second class is Lycopodinae. Third class is Felicinae or Felicini. Next, I am going to discuss about the phanerogamy. Phanerogamy is divided into the divisions. The first division is Gymnospermy and second division is Angiospermy. Classes 1 is Monocotyledon, which includes about 7 orders. Order 1 is Liliflorae. Second order is Enantioblastae. Third order is Sapediciflorae. Fourth order is Glamiflorae. Fifth order is Cytaminiae. Sixth order is Gynandriae. Seventh order is Hylobae. Classes 2 is Dicotyledon, which is further divided into the subclasses. So the first class is Corypetalae and the second subclass is Sympetalae. Next, I am going to discuss about the class Monocotyledon. Monocotyledon, order 1 is Liliflorae, which includes about 6 families. Liliflorae has the subfamilies. First is Liliaceae or Liliaceae. Which is further divided into Liliae, Tulipa, Gagia, Fritillaria, Lilium, Ornithogalum, Allium, Hyacinthus, Asphodelus, Aloe. Second is Melantiae, Colchicum, Varatum, Tophaldia. Next is Smilaceae, Paris, Convallaria, Asparagus, Smilax. Second is Amaryllidaceae, Glanthus, Leucojum, Narcissus agave. Third is Juncaceae. And the fourth is Eridaceae. Class Monocotyledon. Fifth is Hemodoraceae. Sixth is Dioscoraceae. Seventh is Bromeliaceae. And order 2 is Enantioblastae. Order 3 is Sapediciflorae. Order 4th is Glamiflorae. Order 5 is Cytaminiae. Order 6th is Gynandriae. And the 7th order is Hylobae. Next, I am going to discuss about the classification system of Wilhelm Eichler. Wilhelm Eichler introduced the phylogenetic trend in the classification, so its major divisions are still followed. His classification system has following scheme. First is cryptogamy. These are non-seed producing plants and it has 3 divisions. The first division is called Thallophyta. So the Thallophyta has the thallus body. They do not develop the embryo and it has 2 classes. The first class is algae and the second class is fungi. Second division is Bryophyta. They have the thallus or plant-like body and they develop the embryo. Gametophytic generation is dominant in them and it has two classes. The first class is called Hepatic, and the second class is called Musci. So, the third division is Pteridophyta and they are lower vascular plants. They have sporophyte generation dominant. So, it has three classes. The first class is called Equisetinii, Lycopodineae and Feliciniae. Second is Phanerogamy. These are the seed-producing vascular plants and they have dominant saprophytic generation. It has two divisions. So the first division is Gymnospermy. These are seed-producing non-flowering plants. Second division is Angiospermy. They are seed-producing flowering plants and it has two classes. First is Monocotyledon and second is Dicotyledon. Dicotyledon has further sub two classes. First is Corypetalae and second is Sympetalae. Next I am going to discuss about his works. Eichler, August Wilhelm, 1875. Gluten diagramma. Constria und allotted 2 volumes. Floral diagrams and Leipzig. Wilhelm N.W. Wilhelm Engelmann, retrieved on the 17th of May 2015. Volume 1 is published in 1875 and second volume is published in 1878. This is the Gluten diagram or gluten diagramma. This is the work and this is the volume 1 which was published in 1875. It was written by the August Wilhelm Eichler as shown in the figure. Second volume is published in the 1878 and this is also called the gluten diagram and gluten diagramma as shown in the figure. Next is Solibos, Dia, Fortlesungen, Iba, Phanerogamon Kandi, Lipsius und Disha, Karl, 1876, and second is subsequent editions which are published as Solibus, Dia, Fortlesungen, Eba, Spatially und Medizinisch, Pharmaceutisch, Botanic, second edition 1880, third edition 1883, fourth edition 1886 and fifth edition 1890. Second is Eichler, August Wilhelm, 1880-1876, Solibus, Dia, Fortlesungen, Eber, Spatially und Medizinisch and Pharmaceutisch, Botanic, second edition, Berlin, Bontrager. Next is Eichler, August Wilhelm, 1883-1876, Solibus, Dia, Fortlesungen, Eber, Spatially und Medizinisch, Pharmaceutisch, Botanic, third edition, Berlin, Bontrager. So this is the Eichler, August Wilhelm, 1883-1876, Solibus, Dia, Fortlesungen, Eber, Spatially und medizinisch, pharmaceutisch, botanic, 3rd edition, Berlin, Botanical, as shown in the figure. It was published in 1883. Next is Eichler, August Wilhelm, 1886 to 1876, Solibus dia, Phylogenetic, Eber, specially und medizinisch, pharmaceutisch, Botanic, 4th edition, Berlin, Botanical. Next is Eichler, August Wilhelm, 1890-1876, Solibus dia, Phylogenetic, Eber, specially und medizinisch, pharmaceutisch, Botanic, 5th edition, Berlin, Botanical. So this is Eichler, August Wilhelm, 1886 to 1876, Solibus dia, Phylogenetic, Eber, specially und medizinisch and pharmaceutisch, Botanic, 4th edition, Berlin, Botanical. It was published in 1886. You can see in the figure. Next is Eichler, August Wilhelm, 1890-1876, Solibus dia, Phylogenetic, Eber, specially und medizinisch, pharmaceutisch, Botanic, 5th edition, Berlin, Botanical. It is shown in the figure and it was published in 1890. Next work is the Flora Brasiliensis, which is also called the Flora Brazil, edited after the death of the Karl, Friedrich, Phillipp von Martius in 1868 until 1887, succeeded by the Ignatz Urban, available online at the Botanical organization website. And next is the Biography, Soa, Morphology and Systemic, dia, Marentesen, 1884. Next is Soa, Entwicklung Entwicklungsgeschichte, dia, Palmenblätter, 1885. Next is Cavoli, Friedrich, Marti, Flora Brasiliensis, Sive. Next is Flora Brasiliensis, Enamoratio, Plantrum in Brasilia, Hectinus, Detectorum, QRs, Sui, Elioramque, Botanicorum, Studies, Descriptors. So this is the Cavoli, Friedrich, Marti, Flora Brasiliensis, Sive, as shown in the figure. So this is Flora Brasiliensis, Enamoratio, Plantrum in Brasilia, Hectinus, Detectorum, as shown in the figure. A methodo, naturally, digestus, partum, icon, illustrates, itinerant, Carolus, Fredericus, Philippus, De, Martius, A, Augustus. Wilhelm Eichler, Isque, Defunctus, successor, Lignatius Urban with Martius, Karl, Friedrich Philipp von 1794 to 1808, and Licker, East 1, Laszlo, 1804 to 1849. This is Fenzler Edward, 1808 to 1879. Mary Bunch, Oldenburg, R. Urban, and Ignaz, 1848. Standard author abbreviation. The standard author abbreviation Eichler is used to indicate this person as the author when citing a botanical name. If you like my video, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, thanks for your time, and thanks for your appreciation. Thank you so much.